Hi everyone, here I am. I'm back after a while, but I didn't disappear. Are you an elementary student? Is your English basic? This today is for you because we are going to see numbers. Numbers in the news. Okay? Are you uh, an intermediate student? This is for you too, because you have numbers and a little bit more. Are you an advanced student? This is for you too, because you have numbers and then you can talk about the numbers. You can discuss all the content in the news starting from the numbers. Ok? O que eu quero mostrar para vocês é que um aluno iniciante elementar, ele também precisa assistir as notícias e começar a entender. Acontece assim com a sua primeira língua. Você tem aquele input de toda essa língua e você vai notando que você consegue entender um pouco e mais um pouco e mais um pouco até que você se torna fluente. A mesma coisa acontece com o aluno básico, intermediário, avançado. Todos eles podem ouvir a mesma coisa de uma maneira diferente para entender aquilo que eles podem entender e ir crescendo cada vez mais. Ok? Então, aqui nós vamos começar hoje com essas notícias e nos concentrando nos números. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Watch it and see which numbers you can understand. Take notes. Then we are going to check after each one of them. We are going to start with the Chinese New Year. Okay, so this is the first news that we are going to watch about the Chinese New Year, and you are going to take notes of the numbers, and then we are going to check. Let's see.
To wish you a happy new year. We've been out here at the Kennedy Center since just before dusk, and I can tell you there have been hundreds of people filing through this area to look at these brightly lighted lanterns behind me. You know, they look extremely delicate, but they're actually pretty tough. They're going to have to be able to make it through the weather for the next couple of weeks. This is an event that runs here in Washington until February 2nd. It started just a couple of nights ago, and we'll take you down through here just a little bit about what we're seeing. That talks about the the four Chinese symbols: the azure dragon of the east, the vermilion bird of the south, the white tiger, which we're seeing right there, of the west, and the black turtle of the north. And another little secret, the black turtle is actually pink, but we'll get down to that in just a bit. But this is an event, this is the first year it's been able to unfold out here on this area that is basically an annexation for the Kennedy Center, and it's really been very popular. There's a little corridor, if you will, a small walkway goes down that has all the zodiac signs. We'll get to that in just a minute. But right now we're going to be joined by Alicia Adams. You are the Vice President of International Programming as well as dance.
Yes.
Kind of a great mix. What does this say, do you think, about Washington's international culture?
Oh, I think it says a lot. I think that there's such an international community in Washington. I think Washington actually is a microcosm of the rest of the country. And so it is just great to be able to do this kind of work. We have China here for the next 4 days in terms of the arts and crafts indoors, and then Korea is loaning us some artists.
And that's so all the Asian nations can embrace the Lunar New Year.
Yes, yes.
Tell me what you think about having this out here now, because in the past you've had something like this, but it's been squeezed into one day, but now you have this wonderful landscape out here to take advantage of.
Oh, it's just great, you know, to be able to walk outside, to be able to see all of the people here. The Reach, which is what this new addition to the Kennedy Center is called, only opened on September the 7th. And so we had this sort of idea, actually had the idea last year, but it didn't work out. But I'm glad, because I think this is just much more spectacular, and we can do so much more with the space that we have here. And it's you know what? It's a safe place for people to come at night and to walk around outdoors. And I love winter, so it's like a winter fest.
And you
Okay, so the news about the New Year, the Chinese New Year, was in Washington. Yes, and they talk about the numbers. We had lots of numbers. Let's see. So they start with hundreds of people, because you didn't have 100. You maybe had 200 or 300 or 400 or 500. Yeah. So hundreds of people that were there in this exhibition about the Chinese New Year in Washington. Then the next expression that refers to a number is a couple of nights to go. A couple is like two people, a couple, but referring to those numbers, you can have like a couple, also more than two, not exactly two. Yeah, when you are talking about a number that is some, some, a couple, okay? Some nights to go, a couple of nights to go, okay? Couple, two. The next one, January the 2nd. So it is to talk about the date. So you have January the 2nd. Yeah, so you always use those ordinal numbers. January 1st, January 2nd, January the 3rd, January the 4th, January the 5th, and so on. Okay, and then the next one says the four Chinese symbols. The four Chinese symbols. You see the first Chinese symbol that he shows is the white tiger. Okay, so four Chinese symbols. Then they say that it is the first year for this celebration. First, again, an ordinal number. And then she says that this is going to be there for the next 4 days. It is something that's going to be in the museum for the next 4 days. And that this kind of exhibition started on September 7th. Again, an ordinal number using the day September 7th. Yeah, so those were all the numbers that you had in this the news about the Chinese New Year. Good. Now the next video is again about the Chinese New Year, talking about the number of people that are traveling in China this year, how this number has increased from the past year. Let's watch it.
115 million people traveled within China in 2019 for the Spring Festival. 2020 is set to see even bigger numbers, with an estimated 3 billion trips to be made this year for the New Year festivities. Now,
Hello. If you are still with me, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, hit the like. And if you still don't subscribe the channel, subscribe the channel. Now we have lots of good things to come, and then you're going to be have a notification about this, okay? And so let's see the numbers in this last part that is about the people that traveled and that are going to travel in this year. So you have the first number is 15 million people traveled within China in, she says 2019, she could have said 2019, and then that is the way you do for the years, yes, splitting 2019 or 2020, that is the number she uses right after, Yeah, 2020 is says to be to see even bigger numbers, with an estimated 3 million trips to be made. 3 million trips. Yes, 3 million trips. They have very large numbers. Now, our next news are about the coronavirus. So take notes, and don't forget that if you are not able to take notes of all the numbers, you can always rewind the video, watch it again, check, and then listen and repeat those numbers. Yeah, practice a little bit the pronunciation of those numbers so that you can speak perfectly. Okay, so let's move on and see those numbers about the coronavirus. See you in a minute.
City, 09 CGTN.
The demand for protective equipment has surged as the virus has spread. Now workers are sacrificing their holidays to replenish the supply of these vital products. Laura Parpon has more.
It's Spring Festival, a time when many Chinese are at home enjoying a week-long vacation with their families. But in Xiamen, workers are busy manufacturing and packing protective masks.
If necessary, we will work overtime to produce 40,000 KN95 masks a day.
In Guangzhou, workers are making a new batch of sterilized wipes. To meet the public's needs, workers returned earlier from their Spring Festival holiday and extended their 8-hour workday to 10 hours. Meanwhile, authorities of Fujian province sent 3 groups to cities like Guangzhou and Xiamen, instructing their factories to increase the production of protective equipment and ensure the quality of these products.
We'll work to ensure a smooth connection.
Well, in this first report, the numbers are connected to the people that had to work during the holidays to manufacture the masks for the protection of the people. Yeah, so the first number that you find there is 40,000 K. 40,000 K is the same as talking about 40 million. Yeah, 40,000 K and 95. A very exact number of masks that are being manufactured each day. 40,000 million and 95 masks manufactured each day. And they extended their 8-hour work day to 10-hour work day. Yes, so they usually work 8 hours every day, and now they are working 10 hours every day. And the next number is the number of groups of people, the 3 groups of people that were sent to the 2 cities of Guangzhou, yeah, and another city that the 3 groups were sent to. Okay, so those were just the numbers for this part of the news, yeah, that is about the coronavirus. The next video is also about the coronavirus and about the number of people that have been hit by the coronavirus outside China, in other countries like Canada and also inside China, in the main region of the Wuhan province where the virus hit first. Yes, so let's watch it and again pay attention to those numbers. Take notes of the numbers, and I will be with you in a minute.
Cases, Canada just confirming its first presumptive coronavirus patient. More than 1,700 people now are infected. This includes 3 doctors in Beijing. 2 made a trip to Wuhan. Travel restrictions are in effect in 16 cities in Hubei province. This includes the outbreak city of Wuhan, where non-essential vehicles are now banned from the city center. Wuhan is also building a second special hospital to treat patients that will be completed in about 2 weeks. The first prefabricated hospital should be ready in a matter of days. In Beijing, buses traveling to and from other provinces are suspended, and China is requiring everyone entering and leaving the country to fill out health declarations. Chinese President Xi Jinping says combating the new virus is the top priority. He chaired a Politburo meeting on Saturday that agreed to set up a team to tackle the outbreak. Well, meanwhile, the virus has now hit almost all areas of the mainland China and the regions. One of those is Hong Kong.
So Canada just confirmed its first presumptive coronavirus patient. So the number there is first. You have more than 1,700. Yeah, this is a different number. Yes, 1,700. What does it mean, 1,700? It is like 1,700. Yes, 1,700, sorry. 1,700. We have to be careful with this. 1,700 is 1,700. Yes, so 1,700 people are infected, and 3 doctors, including 3 doctors in Beijing. 16 cities in Wuhan, 16 cities in Wuhan province. A second hospital, again, an ordinal number, second hospital, second special hospital completed. In about 2 weeks, the first prefabricated hospital should be ready in a matter of days. Yes, so they are building 2 hospitals, and the first one, in about 2 weeks, this prefabricated hospital will be ready. Yeah. The next news has nothing to do with China, although we started this because of the Chinese New Year, but now we move to Turkey, where they had an earthquake. Okay, so we are going to have the numbers of this earthquake, and this is going to be our last video in this series of numbers. Yeah, if you are still following the video, give us a like, yeah, subscribe the channel, okay, and let's go for this last part that is about the earthquake in Turkey. Okay, pay attention to the numbers there. Let's go.
Many strong aftershocks have been reported so far. Mihal Bardvid reports.
Officials say more than 40 people have been rescued since the earthquake struck Friday night. Dozens are being treated in the intensive care unit of hospitals in the area. One rescue worker, Emine Kuştepe, was seen desperately talking on the phone with a trapped woman, telling her to try and stay awake, breathe slowly, and that help was on the way. Turkey's health and interior ministers were in Elazığ on Saturday. They kept citizens updated on the latest efforts and conditions of the injured, while the Environment and Urbanization Minister assessed the damages.
According to the first damage assessments, it was seen that 4 buildings in Elazığ city center and 1 in Madangezin, 5 buildings in total, collapsed, and there are several other heavily damaged structures. Our teams are doing damage assessments rapidly.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan flew to Elazığ on Saturday. He attended a funeral for one of the victims and inspected the site of collapsed buildings. Erdogan said the country would use every means to reach people who were trapped.
Enkazlardaki çalışmalar.
Our work at the wreckage sites are continuing intensely. Our friends are tracking the sounds they receive with the help of trained dogs, technical equipment, and sound tracking devices.
Meanwhile, Turkey's emergency response includes more than 3,400 rescue personnel, 17 search and rescue dogs, and nearly 500 vehicles. There have been hundreds of aftershocks, with at least one with a 5.1 magnitude. Rescue efforts will continue through the weekend as the temperature in Elazığ reaches freezing overnight. Mihal Bardavid, CGTN, Istanbul.
So this was our last piece of news for today, which was about the earthquake in Turkey and the numbers that you could see. The first one about the number of people rescued. Yeah, how many people have been rescued? More than 40 people have been rescued. More than 40 people have been rescued. Dozens are being treated in the intensive care unit of hospitals in the area. Okay, so this number again, dozens, is a general number, like when you don't know exactly the number, but it is like around 10, so you say dozens of people have been treated in the intensive care. Okay, dozens. You don't know exactly the number. According to the first damage assessments, 4 buildings in Elazığ and 1 building in Malatya, so 5 buildings in total collapsed. Now the numbers of people working and the numbers about the work with the rescue. You have 3,400. Yeah, again, 3,400. What does 3,400 mean? It's 3,400. 3,400. Yeah, 3,400 rescue personnel, and 17 search and rescue dogs, nearly 500 vehicles. Nearly 500 vehicles used in this rescue of the earthquake in Turkey. Now, hundreds of aftershock with at least one with 5.1 magnitude. Yeah, it's the magnitude, the number of the magnitude of the earthquake. The shock had a 5.1 magnitude. Okay, so that's all we have for the Turkish earthquake. And this is all for today here. Yeah, those videos can be used for many other purposes. Yeah, to talk about earthquakes, to talk about festivals, yeah, to talk about the New Year, the Chinese New Year, to talk about the coronavirus. Okay, so that's all for today, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.